What's going on, everybody? My name is Alonso. Welcome back to the channel. Today, I'm going to be discussing just how safe one of these trampoline nets is. Now, before I begin, check this out. Yeah, they're pretty safe. But in all seriousness, before I begin this video, I really quickly want to say that I am a bit embarrassed. I had actually filmed this video a couple of days ago, but when I got home and threw all the footage on my computer, I realized that my microphone had malfunctioned, so I got really poor audio quality, and you guys just don't deserve a shitty video like that. So here we are. I'm just going to use that same content from before, and I'm just going to talk about it now because I think the results were really good, and I don't have 7 people here now to put weight on a trampoline net like this. And before I get into the weeds of that even, I want to talk about something real quick, and that's paracord. Now, whenever I get commissioned to go do such a big project, I usually overestimate the amount of paracord that I'm going to need. So typically what ends up happening in my life is that I have a bunch of paracord just kind of sitting in my garage, not doing too much because the colors won't fit into my next project or something like that. So typically I'll use this as scrap paracord and make random nets out of it and stuff. But I was thinking the other day, and we just hit 5,000 subscribers, so I'm really stoked about that, and I want to give back to you guys. I know you guys really want to learn to make your own tree nets and space nets at home. From now on, anytime I have leftover paracord, I want to give that away to some of you guys that watch my videos, just to show how much I really appreciate all of your guys' support. Before I spoil the details on how one of you lucky subscribers can win some paracord to practice weaving at home, stay tuned because we're going to talk about that later. Anyway, I get a lot of questions, people asking me how safe these nets are. They want to know whether the load on these ropes is safe and how many people can get on the nets and all that kind of stuff. And honestly, my answer is always kind of the same when I tell people that. I tell them that you can literally park a truck on one of these things and it would be fine, because the strength of all the ropes and paracord combined is usually much stronger than the strength of your trees or anything else you have around it. So if you have really beefy trees or a really beefy frame like this, you are usually totally fine. However, I got to thinking myself recently, and I wanted to know, well, just how much force actually is on one of these trampoline nets when you have 1 person, 2 people, 3 people, 4 people, 5, 6, heck, even 7 people on it all at once. Because with 7 people on one of these, it's pretty much maxed out to capacity. So we did just that. We brought this net out to the park, and I brought out a bunch of friends, and we loaded it. I mean, we were jumping on it, we were going crazy on it, and I want to talk to you guys about exactly what it was that we did and the results that we got, because they were actually kind of crazy shocking in a good way. So first of all, I want to talk about the setup that we kind of had. The reason I didn't do this experiment here and we wanted to go to a park is because I wanted to put a load cell between the perimeter and the frame so I could see exactly how much load was on one of these. However, a load cell doesn't fit in this tiny gap here. The only way I would have been able to do that is if I would have either A, made a much smaller net, but that's no fun, or B, anchored the trampoline to some trees. So that's exactly what we did. We put the trampoline between 2 trees, anchored it on one side so it couldn't shift in any direction, and then we put a load cell between this guy and this guy so we could see exactly how much force was on this. And then with some basic trigonometry, we could actually figure out how much force is on the rope itself. But I really figured, since the weak link is these outer parts, because we're using paracord for a lot of the points, I wanted to know how well distributed the load was across this net here. But before I continue with the results, go check out my website at treenetweaves.com, and at the very bottom of that website, I've got a newsletter you can sign up for. I'm not going to spam you on that newsletter. I put out a bunch of really cool blogs that have a lot of Treenet science, like how much paracord you need based off the surface area of your net. I'm going to put out a blog on this video, which details how much force is on the perimeter of your nets. And I'm going to put out a bunch of other useful details and cool events that we're coming to. So if you want to check that out, go to our website, sign up with your email down below. Now, finally, let's get to those results. So here is what we found. With no people on the net, standing tension was about 1.4 kilonewtons on each of these points. And after we put one person on it and they got off, it lost some tension because of all the stretch, and it actually settled at about 1.1 kilonewtons, or about 230 pounds, give or take. With one person on the net just hanging out, it went up to 1.67 kilonewtons, and when they started jumping up and down like crazy, it went up to 2.3 kilonewtons. Now, when we had two people on the net, it still stayed at about 1.7 kilonewtons, which was interesting, but went up to about 2.5 kilonewtons when they bounced. Now, I have a theory about this, but I'm going to talk to you about that after all these results. So, with 3 people on the net, we still were at 1.7. With 4, we were still at 1.7. With 5, guess what? Still at 1.7. With 6, we saw a small spike go up to 1.9. And then with 7, we were at 2.5 kilonewtons. I have a couple of theories as to why the tension might have stayed very consistent, even though we were adding quite a bit more weight to it. The first theory is all the stretch and all the paracord. Paracord is actually really high stretch. It's parachute cord, 550 paracord. So it's actually meant to withstand some pretty good shock loads and stretch and absorb force that way. So one of my thoughts is because people were so well distributed along this net that paracord was just taking most of the force and stretching to distribute it within itself. So it never actually made it to the perimeter. My second theory, and this one is probably more likely just because of what we were seeing in our videos, but when there's more people on it, the frame actually deforms a little bit. It actually will, like, if someone's jumping on it, the frame bends inward a little bit, just a little bit every time. And we're kind of thinking that the way the frame bent, you know, if it bends inward every time, you technically are loosening up on all these, giving the frame all the force and allowing everything inside of it to kind of stay at a relatively similar force, if that makes sense. So that was pretty cool to know that with even 7 people on the net, we were only at 2.5 kilonewtons, and that pretty much maxed out the surface area on this net too. So fitting more wouldn't have been that comfortable unless everyone was really close and snuggling. We've got about a 90-degree angle here between the ropes, and if we do some really easy trigonometry on that, we can figure out how much force was actually on the rope based off how much force was on the anchor point. And I'm going to put that all on a table here on the screen for you guys to see. So there's that. And now that paracord giveaway as promised. So here we go. I am currently posting on YouTube about once a month. Now I'm going to be giving paracord away to 2 lucky subscribers every time I post. That number might change depending on how much paracord I have on hand. Now here's how you can enter to win some free paracord so you can weave one of these beautiful nets at home yourself. For one entry to win this paracord, subscribe to this channel and comment your favorite color of paracord down below in the comments. It's that easy. You just have to click one button and type one color down below, and that'll automatically enter you into this paracord giveaway. For 3 additional entries, putting you up to 4 entries, go follow us on Instagram, check out our latest post, and tag 3 of your friends down below in the comments of that post. Now, finally, if you want 5 extra entries, boosting you to a total of 9 entries for this paracord giveaway, go subscribe to our newsletter over at our website on www.treenetweaves.com. The link for that is down in the description. I send out a lot of early access blogs like I discussed before. I'm not going to spam you, and you're not going to regret it. And that is how you can enter to win some free paracord from this video. I'll announce the winner in 2 weeks via email and on our Instagram story, so go check us out on there as well. And like I said earlier in this video, we just hit 5K subscribers, and I really appreciate you guys for that, so thank you all so much. So now that the test is done, I really quickly want to point out that paracord has an MBS of about 500 pounds. So when you take hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pieces of paracord and put them together in an army like this, the MBS is a huge giant question mark, but it is really high. Now, as for the perimeter rope here, with knots in it, it's got a breaking strength of roughly 4,000 pounds, or roughly 17 kilonewtons, give or take. So if we're only seeing this amount of force on the rope, we are well within a safety range. However, for added peace of mind, whenever we do one of these projects up high or in a kind of finicky location, we use 2 pieces of static rope side by side to give it double the breaking strength and some redundancy. And that's really all I have for this video. If you guys want some paracord at a discounted rate, go check out Paracord Galaxy. I'll put a link for them down in the description, and use code Treenet to get 5% off on your purchase. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate you guys, and I'll see you guys on the next video.